Hello ladies and G-words, welcome back to my main channel. I apologize I haven't been posting a lot. I've been working a lot on some other projects, which is why I've got my Steve Jobs turtleneck on. So this week I turned 26 on the 12th of February and I thought I would make a 26 things I've learned in 26 years video. I used to do this a lot and then I stopped, like I haven't made this in quite a while. So today I sat down, I put my Gentle Monster glasses on and I wrote this out. So let's talk. Get a cup of tea. I've got my cup of tea here. Mummy is going to share some wisdom with you today. And these are things I would have loved to have told my younger self as well. So if you can apply this, it's going to greatly benefit your life. Number one, if you have a faith or belief, life is going to be so much easier for you. Now, this is even backed up by research papers. People who have a faith or a religion, I'm not saying be religious, you guys know I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. They have a better sense of community, they are happier, they are healthier. People who are atheists, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being atheist, but people who have absolutely no beliefs, they are more likely to be lost and to feel alone, because when something happens in their life, who do they turn to? They turn to themselves. And it always feels better to like kind of surrender to a higher power. I'll give you guys an example, right? You go through a breakup. You might be thinking, wow, like, why did this happen to me? I hate this guy, my life is falling apart. But me, because I'm a Kabbalist, I'm spiritual, right? I see it as one step closer to my soulmate, to expanding my vessel. So this experience, instead, I'm like so grateful for it, because it has revealed to me lessons that I now need to learn that I thought I had already integrated, but clearly I hadn't. Now I can integrate this into me and I expand my vessel and I'm one step closer to my soulmate. Now you see, what is the healthier view here? Is it like hating yourself, like thinking about your ex, like why did this happen? Why did this happen? I hate myself, I hate my life, I'll never find love. You have literally no one to talk to. There is no higher meaning for anything. Versus you have, for example, what I'm thinking. Or like a Christian might believe, okay, God sent him to me for a reason. This is like part of God's plan. Now, I'm not pushing a faith onto you. If you watch my channel, you're already more likely to be spiritual or to have a belief. But I'm saying you gotta find something, guys, that resonates with you. I think having no religion, no belief system is, sorry, this might anger some people, it is a bit small-minded, because how can you, do you really believe that there is nothing out there in the world that is bigger than you? There are things that cannot even be explained by science. And that's part of my work on my channel and in like my career throughout my life. I like to combine science, spirituality, because I come from a scientific background, guys. I have a Bachelor of Psychological Sciences degree, but my whole life, since I was a very young child, I've been drawn to the spiritual world, and I needed it to always be explained by science. It was never good enough for me to just read something or watch something. I have to know, I have to understand why, and I have to link it together. I love to link religions together. I like to bridge it with science. And this is just something I'm telling you that I do in my work, and I do for myself to help me believe more. But you need to find something for yourself. It's going to help you immensely. Okay, number two, you need to allow yourself to want more. Which means if you are in a job you don't like, you're in a relationship that you think you're settling for, but oh, he loves me, so I should stay. Is this really the life you want for yourself? Sometimes you have to walk away and you have to say to yourself that I allow myself to want more. It's okay that I want more. I'm deserving of this. I think a huge issue is that the reason why people don't push themselves for more, or they don't reach for more, they don't reach for a better partner and leave their shitty ex, for example, is because they deep down, they don't believe that they are going to get it or that they are even worthy of getting it. And something that I found so healing for myself is to simply repeat to myself that it is okay to want more, and I allow myself to want more than I currently have. And it comes into many experiences. For example, you might be earning a very good salary, something that you've dreamed about your whole life, but you want more, and you might have all these fears come up, all these beliefs. Oh, I'm greedy. There are so many poor people in the world. Why should I say that I want more? Allow yourself to want more. You are meant to have everything you want in this life, period. Number 3, This is a very cliche one, guys. They're not going to be cliche as we continue, but I want to put this in. Sometimes holding on is way more painful than if you just let go. This is not just for relationships. This can be for a job as well. For example, YouTube is something I wanted like my whole life. Since I was a child, I grinded towards it. I had such tunnel vision towards what I wanted to do on the internet. And I started to experience algorithm issues from 2022. I remember I had worked so hard on my channel. I was posting 3 times per week. And one day overnight, my views had dropped 50%. And back in 2022, no one had heard of this before. Now, it's very common. But back then, no one had heard about it. I remember doing a poll and 80% of my audience said they thought I just stopped posting videos. What did I do? I kept pushing and pushing, and eventually it actually pushed me into the self-development psychological niche, which is something that I never wanted to do. Yes, I was always interested in it. Yes, this was also my degree. But I wanted, if you guys were here from the clownery era, I just wanted to be silly on the internet and do my own thing, even though I kind of knew this was part of my pathway and I resisted it. So eventually the universe had to push me into doing this. I also knew that being a YouTuber was not going to be my career, that I was shrinking myself in many ways. If you guys know my law, I used to work in startups. I have built multiple businesses and sold them as well. And I think I burnt out so much that I'm like, I'm just gonna do YouTube. But not only was I a slave to my sponsorships, I was a slave to my audience, a slave to my algorithm. By the way, this is me being very vulnerable right now. I don't like to talk about these things. And I just kept on forcing and pushing, and I was so stressed out all the time. And if you look at my views now, like, they have very much tanked. And this is something that's been happening across the board to so many YouTubers where I don't even know what's happening. But I surrendered. I'm not gonna push against this anymore. And you see on Reddit, people are posting about it. They're like, what is going on with YouTube? Like, I've been on YouTube 10 years. I have 1 million followers, 2 million followers. This happened to my views. No explanation. And I kind of was like, okay, I'm not gonna push against this anymore. I know I have to do other things. And that's what I did. I just said, you know, fuck it. I don't think I will ever leave YouTube. I think part of my mission and my larger plan on this earth is that I will always be sharing my knowledge and helping people. But right now I need to put a lot of my energy into other things, which to fulfill my purpose and my ambitious side. And that's what I was doing. And everything like started to align when I started to surrender. But holding on to everything, like holding on to sponsorships, holding on to my algorithm, this was draining me, you guys. It was actually draining the life force from me, and it was making me so bitter and resentful, because real ones know, like, a lot of the people in this self-development space would copy me and my videos. They would copy my products, copy my videos, like almost word for word, and it made me bitter. And then I just was like, you know what, I really don't give a fuck. Like, part of my belief system also is that my videos and whatever I'm doing in life, it's going to reach the right people. And if the universe right now wants to cut this off, that is for a reason. It also might mean maybe some people are not ready to hear what I'm going to say. And I think right now I'm on a very different journey. Honestly, guys, I don't think I'm going to share this with the world yet. Like, maybe eventually. But right now, I just want to continue to talk about like psychology, self-development, spirituality, what helps me in my work, what is going to help you. I'm rambling a bit, but the point is, when you finally can let go of something, that's when you allow yourself to receive more and just stop fighting. Like, I was fighting for so long until honestly God forced me to release. Same with relationships. You stay in that like really toxic relationship. Every day you stay in that toxic relationship, it's doing more damage to your brain, it's doing more damage to your heart, versus if you let go and you just went through 8 months of heartbreak, you would come out on the other end. Especially women, we actually get over heartbreaks much better and easier than men. Okay, sorry guys, I'm rambling. We're on point 3 and we've got 26 to go, so this is like a full-on podcast. Okay. Number 4, ladies and men, actually, this is for you. You're gonna relate. You likely are blocking out love and your soulmate and many connections because you are too wired for perfectionism. But this perfectionism is actually a form of avoidance. For example, I'm not someone who's ever really like been a chronic dater. Yes, I had my data collection phase, if you guys know about that, but I'm never someone who's like, I need a partner. I want my soulmate, my husband, yes, but I'm not desperate for that, which means I do not settle, I do not hunt. Now, what this made me do though, was that I was blocking out so many incredible people from my life because I was so avoidant. I would always be like waiting for them to fuck up, like one little mistake, okay, you're done, you're gone. You're not him, you're not the husband. Now, what I realized was when I actually stopped all of these like little avoidant tactics and I realized the deeper meaning, I'd be like, oh, actually, this happened is because it was bruising my ego or made me feel like unworthy or something like this. That is when all of these incredible aligned people started to come into my life because it expands your vessel and you attract what you are. It's in alignment. While for years and years I was blocking that out, because if you are also, depending on your attachment style, love and connection could be a threat to you. So that's something you have to work through. Know your attachment style. I would say this is another point. Your attachment style is going to show up in every area of your life. I used to be a fearful avoidant, which was the rarest and the worst attachment style to have. I also had CPTSD, so that's why if you have a pretty like complex childhood, likely you're going to be an FA. And how that would show up was I would really anxiously attach, and at the same time I want to pull back from you. So it's causing like a lot of mental anguish in my brain. Now, I actually managed to heal that. I know people ask me how I healed it. Darling, a lot of introspection, a lot of work on yourself, and a lot of, I'm not going to say healing, this is going to go into another point. People think healing's going to take a long time. Healing is just making a different decision in the moment. Now, the thing about healing is you need to even know what your triggers are. For example, going back to your attachment style, if you notice this person's texting me too much, I want to pull back from them. Your avoidant brain will go, they're annoying, I don't like them anymore. But actually, it's just because you feel too much pressure. That doesn't mean you don't like them. It means that you need to probably retreat, communicate with them, and also tell yourself, this doesn't mean I don't like them. Don't do anything to sabotage this. You have to know like the underlying reason for your behaviors. And that's how I healed it. And actually, I am not avoidant anymore. If anything, I'm more anxious, which is actually good for me, because anxious attachment is super easy to heal once your nervous system is healed, and it's one step closer to secure attachment, while avoidance is here and then FA is here. Like, it's miraculous I even got here, to be honest. If you want like healthy relationships, another point, healthy relationships, a healthy, happy life, you need to work on your nervous system regulation. You need to feel safe in your body, because you can meet the most secure partner and they do one tiny little thing, like maybe every day they message you at 10 a.m. and today they messaged you at 10:30 and you crashed out because you fundamentally don't feel safe in your body. Now you're outsourcing your regulation to another person, and that is very unfair to them, and it's unhealthy to you because you're going to be reactive to every little thing. So you have to learn to feel safe in your body. And when you start to feel safe in your body, it also means you're going to choose better options for yourself, because if you feel safe, you feel calm, you're no longer going to choose the toxic partner because it will feel so unfamiliar to you. It took me like 26 years to learn that, guys. Nervous system regulation is key. Now, while we're on the topic of relationships, I want to go into another point. It sounds very cliche, but self-love really is the key to everything, and it shows up in the most little ways. Now, I recently just had something end and I thought it was going to work out, but it didn't, and I was so grateful, honestly, because within 20 minutes of it ending, I wrote out this list of all the things I realized that I needed to work on, that I thought I had worked on that I hadn't. Now, the number one thing was that I lacked self-love, actually. And I had realized that since I was a child, the reason I have always like dreamt of this soulmate partner was because the love I was not getting from my family, I couldn't even give it to myself. So now I was outsourcing this to this miraculous person who would one day come into my life. It became so plainly obvious to me afterwards what I needed to do in order to then give myself that love. It shows up in the most small ways. For example, I used to be like, I'm way too busy to cook. I'm too busy to go to the gym today. I have to work, okay? So money and working was my priority. And then I realized that is not self-love, because part of self-love is taking care of yourself. You need to step outside of your body, almost like a parent. Your mom say, I'm too busy to cook for you today. I'm too busy to cook for my little girl today. I'm too busy to take her to school. No, you love her, you want her to get education, and you want her to go eat healthy. So I would make time for myself now. I make time to make sure that I am working out. I make time to cook a nourishing meal for myself because I love myself. I like to make sure that my space is always clean. In these small little behaviors, like even flowers make me really happy. I realize, let me pour this love into myself. One thing women do is, because women, we are the lovers, really. Life is born from us. We love very differently to men, and we love very strongly. So what women do is, commonly they try to make men their projects almost, and they start to pour so much attention and love and time into them. And why do we do this? It's actually because we were unable to give that to ourselves. Now that's what I was doing. It became so obvious what I was avoiding in my life. So I was trying to figure out how I could literally like pour it into him, for example. And then when it was over, I had this realization, and I was like, holy shit, let me figure out how I can pour this into myself actually in all these small little ways. And instantly things transformed for me. Now this can go back to another point. Every relationship you have, or every friendship you have, it's there to teach you something, and it's just expanding your vessel, but you have to take away the positives from it and what you can learn and transform. Because here's another point, guys. If you do not heal your tikkun are basically your karmic patterns that you have in this life, is going to repeat. You're going to get it in other partners, and it's going to make your life very difficult. It's going to go into your next life. So you need to choose to heal it now, today. Another point. This is so cliche. Someone's going to show you who they are, and you better believe it, because people don't do things just once. They do things multiple times. Now, girls, I think we do have this habit, and unfortunately it's because a lot of men are like this, where they will love bomb you at the beginning. There'll be like a particular way that makes you feel really good, and then they change. You're like, why did they change? He was so good like this at the beginning. This is the guy that I liked at the beginning. I want him to go back like that. Maybe they'll breadcrumb you a little bit. They show behaviors from being that person. This goes for friendships as well. Ultimately, sometimes people, they might not have nefarious reasons for being like this, but they were like that at one point in time, and they're not like this anymore, and they are showing you exactly who they are. So you need to walk away if you don't like that, because you're not going to get that same version of them again. Don't stick around hoping for them to become that version of them at the beginning. Don't stick around hoping things will get better, because also if people just continuously apologize to you and there is no change being made, that is emotional manipulation. Someone's mask is always going to fall off. Whether it happens in like 2 weeks of knowing them, or a month, or a year, it falls off. Instead of being sad about it, be happy that they showed you who they are, because you could have lost so much more time. My friend's husband, he was bipolar. He got diagnosed in their relationship, and the person he was at the start of their marriage was entirely different to who he was 3 years later. And it's so scary. Like, we talk about this, it is so scary, because this guy, he wears such a mask of being like this incredible man, and he's tall, he's handsome, he's well off, and he knows what girls want. So anytime a woman meets him, they're probably like, I have found gold, like I have struck gold. And then the mask fades, and it's so scary. And I think women, they get blamed way too much for falling for these things. Why is it our fault that we have fallen for someone's story when we just wanted to believe in love? You need to remember, ladies, number one, you are the chooser. The man is not the chooser. You are the chooser. They should be auditioning for you. You know that Jester meme? They should be auditioning for you. You're the chooser. Don't let a man make decisions for you. Believe actions. Don't believe what is coming out of the mouth, because also some people, they're genuinely good people. However, their actions don't align with their words, because who they are in their brain is very different from who they are in real life. I remember when I was 19, my first boyfriend, he saw himself as like such a strong, like good man, and I saw through that shit. I saw him as like, honestly, like, I'm sorry to him, I saw him like this, and he was like that. So whatever was coming out of his mouth, it was so different to how he saw himself up here as well, and his behaviors, and he could never find the middle ground for that. So it's not like someone's lying to you, that they're probably lying to themselves, and they don't even have the strength to see how they really are. So you want someone who is very reflective, self-aware, and they actually do what they say they're going to do. This can go into another point. How someone does one thing is how they do everything. If you are disciplined in going to the gym, but you are lazy in your habits and your work life, you cannot call yourself a disciplined person, because someone who's a beast in one area, they are a beast in every other areas. That's why you very rarely see entrepreneurs be fat. I know you're going to be like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. I think they're quite different, because I don't think they did that for the money necessarily. They're just like these autistic tech entrepreneurs, and I have a lot of friends in that Silicon Valley space, and that they're not at the gym because their drive is not money, it's their mission. Okay, so that's different. But I live in Dubai, so I look at all of these guys running their businesses, especially like in e-com and whatever, and these guys are jacked because they are so disciplined with how they live their life and their health. It is super rare that you're going to see someone be fat and rich at the same time, is what I'm saying. It's rare. Not saying it doesn't happen, but it's rare. You got to be a beast in all areas. Okay, next. Friendship and relationships, connections, having a community is going to bring you so much more happiness than money, guys. That's why you can be living in the most boring city on earth and you have amazing friends and you're going to be happy. When I moved here, I've lived here 2 years now, I was so depressed my first year. I didn't have community. I was in this city that I deemed extremely fake. By the way, this is like a whole other conversation, but yes, Dubai can seem very, very fake on the surface, but it's really like what part of Dubai you choose to live in and what you choose to engage in. I think I live like such a wholesome life here, and I have such incredible friends, and I really love it here. I built such a wholesome, good life for myself. But anyways, I was so lonely my first year. I didn't have connection. Honestly, my whole life I was very lonely. I grew up an only child, and I decided I'm really going to make an effort to find connections to me that feel like home. And I did, and it brought me infinitely more happiness than money. I mean, research papers prove this too. I see so many people here that are making so much money and they're lost. They have no purpose. Another point, you must move through life with a purpose, something greater than you. I think when you're young, like, yes, you can chase money, but eventually it catches up to you. When you get the money, it's like, okay, what now? What, do I just chase more money? Then what do I do with the money? These guys, I've seen it so many times, they end up exiting from their company. They become depressed. They don't know what to do. Maybe they turn to prostitutes or partying or gambling just to get that dopamine hit again. Imagine exiting like $20 million company at the age of 23. What the hell do you do from there? Do you go for billions? Do you go for more? But that feels kind of empty and soulless. While if you have a mission bigger than you tend to be happier. That's why there is a huge difference between these tech founders in like Silicon Valley and, for example, dropshippers. I'm not like shitting on dropshippers at all, but I know both, and I'm saying there's a huge difference, because one wakes up with purpose every day and the other one is waking up with a purpose to just print more money. And they do print money, but what happens afterwards? You have to have a purpose, and that purpose is going to keep you alive. I forgot the book on this, but in this book, I think they were referencing some research papers that said like you're something like 40% more likely to not get ill if you wake up with purpose. And you're gonna live longer as well. Become a master at one thing versus trying to be everything. A jack of all trades doesn't go that far. And it also causes a lot of confusion for yourself. Like for me, I have always tried to be a jack of all trades because I think that's who I am. I'm really multifaceted and skilled in so many different areas that even for me, it's like quite hard to juggle. But I have learned to stop fighting this and to just focus on one thing at a time and really excelling in one area. And that's how you get further and you can cut through all the noise. This is mainly for my women, but you must stop performing and auditioning. I said earlier, you are the choosers, but also if you're constantly performing, you're not even going to allow the people who will love you for you to find you, because you're always going to be putting on a performance. And I realized when I was younger, I was always performing. You're performing because you're afraid. What if I actually showed them the real me and they still left me anyways? Then I'm not good enough. But then it's equally as confusing if you're performing and they leave the fake version of you. So the best thing for you to do is to just stop altogether and just be yourself, unapologetically be yourself, because that is what is going to draw in the people who will love you guys 100%. And also, I think it's such a blessing if you start to show people who you are and then they leave you, because you don't want them around anyways. From day one, be your unapologetic self. It is easier said than done, because we all have masked versions of ourselves. These masked versions of ourselves were there to protect ourselves, usually from hurt, so it comes up and you might not even know it. But if you're able to identify when you're masking and bring it to light, that is when you can gain control and you don't let it overtake you or control you. Next, self-concept work is always going to beat any other type of work you do in terms of manifestation. You might spend all your time doing affirmations or like hypnosis or whatever, but at the core of it, it is, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as somebody who is limitless? Somebody who has good things happen to you? Someone who can make shit happen? People always ask me, do you struggle with dating in Dubai? Especially because I'm a woman, I'm successful, I have extremely high standards, blah, 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 blah. People are like, oh my God, it must be so difficult to date. And I'm like, no, it's not, because I just don't have the belief system. I think anywhere in the world, it can be hard to date, but you will find your equal match wherever, as long as you do the work. That is my belief system. And I meet the most amazing people in my life that I meet them and I'm like, wow, manifestation is real, because I really can't believe you exist. And every time it just shows up, and I don't, mashallah, I'm not Muslim, but mashallah guys, I don't have bad dating experiences, because that is my belief system. And I just have this belief system that I am chosen, that I am loved, and that I'm awesome, and that I meet amazing people. That's how I perceive the world. Let me give you guys an example of how your belief system rules everything. So I met this guy, right? And he has this belief system that all women in Dubai are escorts, hookers, or gold diggers. So when he met me, because we met on a dating app, he at first thought I was just like all the other girls. I never give out my social media, but because I had to go back to Australia to deal with something, I just gave him my Instagram because I couldn't be bothered anymore. I'm like, here, no secrecy, here's my Instagram. So then he realized I was not a hooker, obviously. So then I came back to Dubai, like we started dating. But imagine this, his belief system, he could have not met me, guys, if I hadn't gone back to Australia, because he believed I was like every other person, that I was a hooker. So, do you see what I mean? The love of his life would be in front of him and he's like, hooker, because that's what he believes. Your brain is gonna, whatever you believe, your brain is gonna filter everything through that lens. So if I believed that every man is trash, every man is gonna use me, I'm gonna look at every single person I meet through that lens and find any tiny bit of evidence to make that seem true, because that is what our brain does. The reticular activating system does that, which was gonna go into my next point. Women as well, we are far more likely to notice negative things than men are, and it sticks in our brain. It's really helpful in your relationships to not get caught up nitpicking. This is something I used to do like really badly. I would pick on all these little things that were negative, because to me it would be like a threat. And then when you step back, you're like, okay, this is not a big deal. Now, once you start doing it, you start making those lists, guys. Oh my God, I swear everything goes downhill. You have to start to train your brain to see the positives, not just in your relationships, but everything in life. Wake up and be like, wow, I'm so blessed that the sky is so blue. The universe loves me. Oh my God, look at these flowers. Oh my God, look, someone posted a new video for me. You have to try to look at everything through a positive lens. And if you do this enough, your brain will change. Your brain will be happier. You will start to notice all the good things, and it will just be second nature to you. And then watch how your life transforms. Next, stop telling your friends everything. something I had to really stop doing. People don't need to know everything, especially new projects. Don't move in silence 90 days and then you can tell them. But you never know what people's hidden beliefs are. They might project that onto you unconsciously. If you're dating someone new, just keep it a secret. Even my friends, while I love them so much, they've definitely impacted some of my relationships because they were way too involved with giving me their opinions and then putting their limiting beliefs onto me. So I've just learned to not share things, or to selectively share things. Next, you need to listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you exactly what you need. Don't fight it, because eventually it will come out. I've used this example many times, but in 2024 I became extremely depressed and my father passed away. I didn't cry. I thought, wow, I just must be not very affected by this, but obviously my brain was numb. And throughout the year I became more and more depressed. I was getting sick all the time, even though I'm never someone who gets sick. And that was my body telling me something was wrong. These unprocessed emotions needed to come out. So if you need to cry, crying is not a weakness. You must allow yourself to cry and to release it. It gets stored in your fascia. Get your exercise ball and roll it over your body. Allow yourself to release these emotions so it does not come out as sickness later on. Next, I'm sorry to say this, but most men are energy drainers, ladies. It is true, and I say most men, I don't say every man, but most men are energy drainers, which is why they make you audition to be in their life. It's funny because I've had so many of my guy friends actually word for word say this to me, but women, we are statistically happier when we are alone and childless. While men, they sleep better next to a woman, they live happier lives next to a woman. Their life greatly benefits because women, like, we know how to make our own money in this generation. We know how to make a house, a home, give everything to ourselves, but these guys, they don't know how to do it. I mean, most guys, they literally don't know how to do it by themselves, and they don't have the same social circle that women do, where we're giving each other so much love and compassion, which is why they outsource this to a woman and they need it so bad. Men are always ready to take from you. They know what they want. So ladies, if he's not pouring into you as much as you're pouring into him, you better leave him, because he's just gonna drain the life out of you. You must pour that into yourself, and you must find a partner, first of all, that actually wants to love you for you. He doesn't want to love you because you can fit the role of a chef, wife, mom, slave. He wants to be with you and love you because he sees you, first of all, as like a best friend, as a partner to grow with, and as a human being. And it sounds silly, right? Oh, well, this is just common sense. When you're in it, it's not common sense. I think a lot of guys, they don't even know that they think this way. They don't even want to believe that they think this way, but that's kind of how a lot of them are. I think especially high-performing men. The difference between a man who's like ready to be a husband and a partner and actually wants a wife and loves you for you, and the difference between a man who's looking for a wife to fill the void, is he will likely go and date anyone and marry anyone who can fit the role. Okay, yes, she stays at home, she's very obedient, she has regular sex with me, she's good for my family, she fits into this like storyline that I want. But yes, I have all these gender roles, so if the baby's gonna wake up in the middle of the night and needs to change its diapers, she's gonna be doing that because she's the woman, I'm the bread maker, okay? He does not see her entirely as a human, and that's a tough pill to swallow. Yeah, he can love her for whatever she's doing and kind of love her as a person, but still, she's playing a role. He's not gonna get up and change the diapers unless absolutely necessary, because in his mind, that's her job, and he doesn't wanna do it because that's not his job. While this guy, who's actually like, my wife is my best friend, I want to be a partner to her, I see her as a human, it's less about roles and literally more about love and partnership. He would be like, okay, I want my wife to sleep in because I love her, so maybe tonight I will get up and do it. I'm not going to hold her to doing it just because she's the woman. It's because I love her, I'm going to do it. Do you guys see what I mean? You will not believe how many men are on this side. Next, consciousness is our only reality. Whatever we're thinking up here, guys, is going to be projected into your reality. We literally control our reality. It's crazy. I was thinking recently about how I've always said horses don't stop, they keep going, but I was excessively saying this around like November and listening to that song Digits. We ran up the digits, we ran up the money, we ran up the money. And this was not viral yet, by the way. It's just something that I always said and listened to. Suddenly this song is like everywhere. Everywhere. Whatever we're focusing on, it tends to like show up in reality. I had this other story that when I was in Paris, I was repeating birthday sex like non-stop. And then I walked into this cafe in Paris and it was like normal la-di-da cafe music, and then suddenly it's your birthday, so I know you want to ride out. And then it went back to normal music afterwards. Crazy. Control your thoughts, control your thoughts. Okay, next. Always apply the 80-20 rule, which is 20% of the work will get you 80% of the results. That means stop focusing on such unnecessary little things, which is going to hinder you from making progress. And you need to focus on the small minor efforts, which is going to get you the maximum results. For example, in YouTube, is it good to spend all of your time making a fire video and then you spend like no time making a thumbnail when your thumbnail is what is going to get you clicks? You're better off spending more time on your thumbnail, actually. 2 more points. Your ego, your masked self, your shadow self, all of your beliefs, unless you can bring this to the surface, it is going to unconsciously control you. Whatever is not brought to the surface is going to control you, or however this Carl Jung quote goes. For example, going back to an earlier example, I said I used to block out a lot of love, and it was because of my ego. My ego would be afraid of getting hurt. So for example, I would set these mental barriers. I'd be like, okay, if he didn't text me by like 7 p.m, he's cut off. Even though, for example, this guy could have been showing me consistent effort, very good man, I would have no reason not to trust him. My brain would do this because it was looking for ways to sabotage. One, ego was trying to protect myself. If I didn't get a text by 7 o'clock, it means he doesn't like me. Deep down, I would be thinking stuff like that. And when you bring this to light, you claim power over it. So I stopped doing those behaviors because I realized like it didn't make any sense. And I would just equate it, if he didn't text by 7 o'clock to confirm plans, it means he's disrespectful. Well, no, it's not really like that. It's not that black and white. It was more because my ego was getting hurt. So once you bring things to light, they can't control you anymore. Your fears cannot control you. Lastly, guys, trust your instincts always, especially as a woman. Women, we have higher intuition than men, and it comes from our womb. Well, life is born. It's very sacred. We have an intuition that is unmatched, and if you learn to trust your intuition, you will only get more and more intuitive over time. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. I'm so happy that we've been able to catch up in this very, very long video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you want to stay up to date with my life, and we can connect more on there. I love you guys, and I will see you next video. Tschüss.